Good afternoon. My name is Adam Barlow. I'm a student at Brigham Young University studying technology and engineering education. I'm also a member of the Professional Development STEM program in Alpine School District and an assistant to Dr. Stephen Shumway, who until recently was the Director of Technology and Engineering Education at BYU. And today we're going to learn a little bit about kind of what I've been researching, and this is the failing STEM integration, how the efforts that have been made across the country, particularly in Utah, are good, but there are several frustrations and challenges that are slowing down the full implementation of STEM, or science, technology, and engineering mathematics programs, with a emphasis on project-based learning. So just as a brief overview where we're going to go here today, our purpose is to go over some of the history of STEM, why this has been integrated into the United States' educational curriculum. And we're going to explore some of the challenges that teachers and administrators face when trying to implement STEM into their schools, and also some of the potential solutions based on research that I've done and research that has been done by other entities. So a quick pop quiz, just to kind of help warm things up here. Which department of the government in the United States, the federal department, has spent $90 billion in 2015? Question 2, what are the top 3 countries with the most science, technology, engineering, and math degrees, or STEM degrees? And what is the fastest growing career in the United States? So I'll give you just about 10 seconds with a partner or someone at your table. Take a second just to kind of discuss what you would guess for each of these. And this isn't a test, this is just to kind of warm up. So I'll give you 10 seconds. All right, sounds like we've had some good discussion. Let's bring it back together really quick here. All right, so first question. The answer is the U.S. Department of Education. So as you can see, the U.S. Department of Education has a pretty large budget and takes up a good degree of expenditures across the nation. The question 2, China is the leading STEM graduate country on Earth. So with 7.7 million per year, India is a second at 2.7 million per year, and the United States is a very distant third place at just over 500,000 per year. And question 3, the most growth we're going to see that's been projected by the Federal Bureau of Labor in the United States is biomedical engineering. It's projected to grow at 62%. Likewise, other degrees and careers that are expected to grow quickly are all STEM related. You've got medical sciences, the system software developers, computer system analysis, as well as mathematics, and all other occupations of 14% on average. This is a graph just illustrating the STEM graduates per year, and this kind of helps put it in perspective. You can see that China is by far the world leader, with India second, and the United States and Russia fairly closely tied for third place. So the issue here that we're seeing is that in the United States that there's what's called a leaky pipeline, or that there's something within the system of education between prospective high school students to those who actually end up working in STEM related careers, that a very small proportion are actually making it there. So if you'll follow along with me here, that STEM related jobs are expected to grow at 17% compared to the 9.8% for non-STEM jobs. So there's a growing need for STEM graduates in the United States right now. And the issue is they're not all getting there. So we've got, of the students who excel in STEM in classes like K through 12 and before they go to college, only 75% of those students go on to enter STEM majors at the college level. Of those students, 38% of those do not graduate with a STEM degree. And of those graduates, 43% do not go on to work in a STEM occupation. And of those who do, start working in a STEM occupation, they end up going into another manager role or another position that has different pay rates. So this kind of illustrates what it would look like. You get 75% who start, and then 60% who go on, and 57 of that 62%, and so on and so on. And this looks, fairly normal. Doesn't seem that concerning. But when we look at it like this illustrates a little more effectively what's going on. We've got of 100 students who have the potential to enter the STEM workforce, only 9, these 9 down here in the corner, only 9 of those 100 actually end up going, which, simple math says that 9% of those who could go into those degrees actually do. So what this is creating in the American workforce is this really big drought of STEM qualified applicants. Without dependable workforce, American employers are forced to increasingly outsource and employ people from outside the country and companies outside the United States, causing kind of this drought up in a lot of STEM industries. And the purpose of education, this is an important point, is to provide for the fullest possible development of each learner for living morally, creatively, and productively in a democratic society. In other words, the purpose of education is to help its citizens become successfully contributing members of society. And right now, the societal needs we have are all related to STEM. And that's why the STEM movement has caught so much attention in education. So there's been a lot of studies about STEM to see how effective it is in improving and preparing students for the workforce. And so far, evidence has been good. Studies have found that providing opportunities for more student-engaged and centered, meaningful, engaging, and less fragmented learning experiences enhances their understanding and skill. Students are thought to be capable of thinking logically and utilizing technologically independent to solve problems, innovate, and invent. So, and this attention has started from, really the top down of the United States government. This is something that's been quoted to be education in science, mathematics, engineering, and technology is a pressing national priority. And President Obama recognized this in 2015 at the State of the Union address. He said, "Science is more than a school subject or the periodic table or the properties of waves. It is an approach to the world, a critical way to understand and explore and engage with the world, and then have a capacity to change that world." So according to the U.S. Department of Education, only about 20% of the students even have access to standard mathematics courses like calculus and trigonometry. And only 16% of high school seniors are proficient in math and interested in STEM careers. So you can see a very limited amount are on the right track. So more locally, states like Utah have emphasized a lot in trying to keep today's students up to date for tomorrow's problems. There have been new schools built. There was one in Harriman, opened in August this year, called the Rail Academy High School of STEM. Other schools that are currently that have already been around are being converted into STEM schools. So there have been 16 that have been officially named by the state of Utah's Educational Board of Directors. And STEM clubs and programs are becoming more and more available across the state. And professional development programs. These are in-teacher trainings that are hosted by universities such as BYU with Alpine School District. They go in and provide training to teach teachers how to teach STEM. So while it's exciting, a lot of these programs start with a lot of excitement, and teachers are excited, and parents get involved. But within the first few months, there's a lot of burnout that we will refer to as STEM burnout, where due to frustration and lack of implementation, teachers just kind of give up and go back to what they've normally been teaching. So the issue is that there's frequently been dissolved due to a variety of contextual policy, teacher, and student factors sorely underestimated. So we won't read these names, but these are two studies that were published in the International Journal of STEM Education. And they surveyed, both of them had similar findings, and they surveyed teachers asking one simple open-ended question. What are the barriers or challenges to achieving interdisciplinary STEM education? Their answers were categorized, and they found the most common thread was that these teachers had a difficult time integrating different topics into one. They had a hard time using technology. They didn't have the experience for it. And application to real-life problems, how to relate these issues to societal problems, and a lack of time to collaborate and plan. Having time to integrate STEM on top of all the work they already have is difficult. And teachers say that they don't feel professionally qualified to teach these things just yet, and then there's a big lack of resources, both financial and facilities, and a lack of simple understanding. And finally, barriers of school organization, either that's with their not having the right facility to operate, or their administrators aren't helping. The studies found that most teachers, naturally only have one specialization in one discipline, and aren't ready to teach multiple STEM subjects. These challenges with engineering that's offered through STEM often requires a higher level of education, and these teachers would need either to go back to school or would need significant help, because these activities generally require a PhD and a PhD in order to teach knowledgeably and effectively. So some solutions that were offered, given by these teachers, the same teachers surveyed, they said that they would like to have a more multidisciplinary approach. They would like to be able to observe effective STEM lessons being taught, and more integrated STEM training. So those would be helpful. Another barrier is the cost. STEM is not cheap. STEM is very expensive. STEM on average can cost around $835,000 in total for a district to implement an effective STEM program. That means $330,000 for equipment like 3D printers and shop facilities. Schools using smart boards or iPads, that can average of $220,000, and lots of grant money, $20,000 to $30,000 in grants, and $12,000 in teacher materials and training. In Utah right now, there's just a huge shortage for teachers. 42% of teachers quit after the first 5 years, and this has created just a kind of a black hole for student teachers, for STEM teachers. Dr. Shumway has said that in the 20 years he's taught at BYU that he has never seen a teacher who wanted a job not get one because there's such a high demand. The concluding solutions we have here, that there are two main problems. There's just a simple lack of adequately prepared teachers and a lack of financial support for these teachers, as well as proper facilities. Two main solutions simply include preparing future and current teachers. This means that we're going to need to have more teachers go to college to be certified in STEM programs, and focus on educating current teachers and bring them up to speed. And our two main solutions is to support teachers with adequate financial and facility sources. So what you can do is to get involved, be informed. This is a great website. We'll send this link out later so you can follow it. And participate in the STEM movement in your community. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved, to donate, to write letters to state and local legislators, and voice your opinion. Don't be a bystander. Be involved in the STEM program and help the United States catch up and prepare for tomorrow's workforce. So thank you so much for your time, and if you have any more questions, feel free to stay after and we'll discuss those. Thank you.